Hey everyone, thanks for checking in. I'm excited to share some small but meaningful updates to the Padres season ticket tracker for 2025. There's a lot going on under the hood to make things run smoothly, but don't worry, you don't need to be a Google Sheet wizard in order to use it. Another quick tip, if you want to keep everything working perfectly, I highly recommend hiding columns instead of deleting anything. That way, everything under the hood, the formulas and whatnot, stay intact. And finally, if you appreciate the time I'm putting into this each season, you can show your support. Find a link in the description to buy me a beer. And if you need hands on help customizing anything, I can offer support one on one. Find the link for that as well in the description. Okay, so the first thing you'll need to do is select your package. You've got the full season by default, but you've also got gold plans and the blue plans. So all the packages are available from the menu. This filters the information on the right from all the games to just the games in your package. So that's the first and most important step. You can add in the section and row and seat information if you want. That's just helpful for folks that might also use this with you. And you can also enter the price for the tickets per game. That helps with the finances and understanding how much has been paid and how much is due for all the users. So the next thing you'll want to do is put in all the names or represented parties in your shared package who you'll be divvying the tickets up to. So this year we added support for additional collaborators, up to 6 in total. You just enter the names and those will auto hide and unhide the columns where the availability is displayed on this sheet and on the full season sheet. For simplicity, we'll just show 2 users in this situation to keep things clean. Again, you can put your money paid if you're the one, if say Jake is putting down the big deposit, and then as games are attended, Manny may have a balance that is due for the number of games that they're going to, and so forth. So a lot of sheets are shown on the bottom here, but we really are just going to do the package selection and the user entry on this sheet. You can also put in the number of games that each member wants, and that's all you need to do. So when we switch to the full season GUI, again, this is a pretty big sheet, so I've got some filters tied to buttons and scripts that run behind the scenes to show and hide away games or past games once the season progresses, or only focus on giveaway games, and then you can reset those filters at any time using that first button. This is helpful just because this is a lot of information, and I've also added a little note on the top of these filtered columns to show if there is a filter applied so that you're aware that you may not be seeing the full schedule. So if we scroll to the right, we can then start to enter the availability for users. This is the critical step that I think not everybody needs to use, but it's helpful if you've got lots of folks who maybe don't all live in the same household to ask them to enter their availability. For example, if they're out of town, or if they're not sure if they're going to be in town or available for certain games, reflect that here with yes, Y for yes, N for no, and question mark or any other character for unsure. And then on the right hand side, once availability have been entered, go and assign who will go from the drop down of users. And then you can also assign games that are not in the package if you were to trade or add on tickets, and assign who will go there. So once we've done that, we can start to see this taking shape on the My Season sheet. Again, this sheet is kind of a dashboard, if you will, or a summary view with availability and assignments. And that is how the information kind of flows back and forth from the full season GUI to the My Season sheet. So now, to really get some additional value from this project, I like to synchronize the events on the My Season with a Google Calendar. Let's do that next. We're going to use an extension called Sheets to GCal. There's a free version that I use that has up to 5,000 events. So we have to first go to the extension menu and configure the sheet. This is where I basically select the calendar that I've already created, and let's synchronize or link the sheet using the second menu option to that calendar that's got a dedicated use in Google Calendar for me. You could also use a personal calendar, but I find it's easier to have a dedicated calendar if you create one in Google Calendar. So once you've linked the sheet, that's basically saying all the columns here and all the metadata from the games you've selected can now be exported into the calendar that you selected. So once you go to export sheet to calendar, you've got a few options here to send emails to the recipients, to send emails if you update or delete an event, and as well as to keep the information on the sheet for deleted events. Both helpful options. You can set the emails for the users on the formulas and lookup sheet, set an email for each user, and that'll basically send them an invite on the calendar so that they get the invite directly in their inbox rather than having to access this calendar and understand which games are assigned to them. So once the linking is done and the export is done, you get a confirmation message. You can check in the calendar directly if the recipients have been added. We can see the metadata's there. We've got the invite address to a@example.co, the location, and then we can see Jake is in the description. I've just got the name of the recipient or the who will go value in the description field. You can play with that to your heart's desire. It's just everybody's a little different. We can check for other events on the schedule as we would expect. So that was the first game. Here's that second game where Manny is going. The third game, Cubs. Jake is going. The times are reflected. The location is there. You can see that these are all on the Padres season ticket calendar, but they are actually being sent as invites to the recipient shown in the event that we assigned in the sheet. So that's all I have for you today. Again, if you want to support me in the project, you can buy me a beer. If you need hands-on support, feel free to drop me a line, send me an email. You can comment on Reddit. I'm pretty active on there, Padres subreddit. Yeah, it's been great. I'm looking forward to the 2025 Padres season. Let's go Padres.